Hi everyone. Today I have my fellow YouTuber John with me, and he's gonna talk about John. Can you hear me?
Oh, sorry, it was cutting out there. Sorry. Yes, I can hear you now.
All right. Welcome to the show, and I think it's afternoon in UK right now.
That's correct. It's about 2 p.m. in the afternoon. And thanks very much for having me on the show.
No problem. It's a pleasure, John. As I would like to tell our audience that John is more into powerlifting, and he has also competed in powerlifting competitions and stuff, right? So, if you could tell us about yourself, John.
Certainly. So, as you said, yeah, I'm mainly into powerlifting. Started off with strongman and then moved over from strongman to powerlifting. Been doing that for about the past 2 or 3 years now. I've been competing for the past 2 years, and I pretty much run my YouTube channel around that aspect of training, preparing for meets, and everything that goes along with it, such as getting new gear and new kit for reviews and stuff like that. That's pretty much what I really use my YouTube channel for. It's not really for anything other than that.
Right. So it's like more to share knowledge and track your progress as well.
Yeah, so that I can take the experiences I've gained from. I know we're going to be discussing programs and future on in this today, but it's mainly just to kind of take the time to really run these programs as best I can, and then do a review at the end of it, just so that then if someone's coming along thinking, right, what am I going to do? How am I going to get progression? They can then search for videos on my channel and then hopefully see my experiences and maybe try and use that knowledge to therefore improve on their own training.
Right. John, I wanted to know, were you always lifting, and how did you start into, how did you get into lifting basically, and why powerlifting? I mean, do you?
Yeah, I mean, if I go back to when I started lifting, I probably started lifting just like most other people did, just go to the gym to get kind of more fit and healthier as such. I was training for a kind of biathlon kind of thing, which was some running and cycling. And that was really what got me into fitness in the first place. From there, it just slowly progressed more into weights, try to get stronger. And then I joined my first strongman gym around about maybe 4 years ago. And then that's what got me into strongman competition. Just seeing like the yokes, the Atlas stones, the loading the kegs and stuff like that, and some log pressing. All those things then got me into strength
Right.
training, and then from there it was more of a natural progression than just into the powerlifting, just because it's another form of just basically testing your strength.
Okay, and I think strongman is pretty popular in UK and Europe. And I mean, I know, I also follow the strongman and powerlifting history. More of the strongest man brother, which was pretty popular in the 80s and the 90s. I think even it was shown on Star Sports and ESPN stuff.
That's right. Yep.
Metrics was the sponsor. And
Yep.
if
That's correct.
I mean, I did follow quite a lot at that time because I mean it was very intriguing to see people able to pull trains or big boats and buses. That was something which was unseen of, especially for at least the Asian continent. I mean that's something Herculean task basically.
Yeah, I think from like being in the UK and basically being in kind of like Europe, you don't really get powerlifting isn't really like a sport that is known, but yet strongman is. Strongman's a well-known
Right.
sport in our country. And they don't really show it as much on TV as maybe what they used to back in kind of like the 90s, but it's now more of like a Christmas thing where although they do strongman during the summer, they actually save all the shows in and they play it over Christmas, and it's something that's watched during that kind of time, Christmas and New Year. But it is really kind of a well-known sport in the UK, is more than what powerlifting is. So that's really kind of the avenue for most strength athletes that I know of anyway. Strongman is the way into it, and then from there they then got on to powerlifting. Although I do know that as CrossFit becomes more popular, that is an avenue as well now for a lot of more from what I see, more female lifters getting into powerlifting, they go through the CrossFit channels, and for males, it's going
Right.
through the kind of strongman channels.
Right. I mean, that's a good point which you brought up. I mean,
Mhm.
since you brought up CrossFit, I want to know what's your opinion on CrossFit.
um, CrossFit, from a point of view, from a training aspect, I do feel as if it's a very, very good thing. It gets a lot of people
Right.
moving, gets a lot of people into being fit in general. The bit that I don't like about CrossFit is that they do a lot of things that are really just unneeded. You see them doing like
Uh-huh.
pistol squats and stuff like that on top of like an inflatable ball. There's no real need to do that. You're just encouraging injury. And then the other thing that I would probably see is not so great is more of the coaching aspect. A lot of people are jumping on the bandwagon of CrossFit and opening up gyms and charging a lot of money, but yet they're not really
Right.
trained coaches to teach Olympic lifting, which is a very technical sport. And that's probably the two sides that let powerlifting down, because you do see a lot of the powerlifting or CrossFit fails videos on YouTube, and
Right.
it gives a bad name for it.
Right. I mean, that's a good point, actually. I mean, two things: one, money, and other, which you said, the Olympic lifting or the powerlifting moves, which is like
Yep.
snatch and jerk, and
Yeah.
clean and press. These require a lot of technical skills more than
Yeah.
the strength. Because if you have the technique, then I think strength will follow. Because it's the same as lifting. I mean, if you have the technique to lift 135, it's the same technique what you would apply to probably clean and jerk the 315 or the 405.
Exactly. Yep. Exactly. And if you don't have the
Right.
groundwork to build on the strength, then when you actually try and move the heavy weight, the weaknesses you have, whether it be in their technique, will then fail, and then those failures cause injury.
Absolutely. I think it's dangerous too because
Yep.
heavyweight on top of your head is not something which you wanna like fancy with if you're not trained.
Exactly, because try to get out of the way of the bar can sometimes be a challenge.
Absolutely. And I also see that it's very expensive. I suppose. How much is it? How much do they charge in UK?
Well, I know that the gym closest to where I am for CrossFit now charges £60 a month for membership. And you
Uh-huh.
compare that, for example, the strongman gym I was going to is like about £20 a month. So it's about 3 times the cost to go. Although I do know that the gym that's near me is a good gym and they are trained very well, but it is something which is quite expensive to get into.
Right. So it's more of the brand and marketing aspect, which is
Uh,
pushing a lot of CrossFit.
exactly. And
Now,
I'm
I
not
mean,
sure.
since you've please go on. Sorry.
Yeah, no, all I was going to say is I'm not sure with regards to where that cost comes from. I'm not sure if it's a
Hmm.
popularity thing, or I know that you have to pay for to have CrossFit in your gym. So I'm not sure if maybe the higher powers of CrossFit are charging more and more money, and that's what's pushing the memberships up in price.
I think there is. It's more like a franchise or affiliate,
Hmm.
where I mean,
Yep.
I should be tried and I should have like a affiliate with them. So
Yeah.
that incurs charge. And plus, what I
Hmm.
wanted to ask was, how popular is it? How popular is CrossFit in UK?
In Scotland, it's not the most popular sport. I would probably still say Olympic lifting, as far as people that
Okay.
participate in it, is probably still the
Mhm.
most, that and strongman. But it is increasing. You do see a lot of more people talking about it. Within where I work with quite a lot of people. I think there's about 900 members of staff where I work, and you do see a lot more people just getting involved in it. So it is increasing in popularity. But then I also do think powerlifting is also increasing, and I would say that they're probably increasing both at the same level. There's just as much people getting involved in both types of the sports now.
Right. But I do see one advantage with it. I mean,
Hmm.
if somebody who's like a power lifter or a weightlifter or is well versed with say Olympic kind of lifting, then he has a very easy chance of doing a crossover to CrossFit and performing very well. So that's something
Definitely, yeah.
which can probably help because UK is predominantly, I think, into more into powerlifting, strongman, and this sort of strength, sports. So I think
Definitely, yeah,
they have
definitely.
a better chance of like doing a crossover,
Yeah, I think with all three
right?
sports, when there's the disciplines behind the three, when you look at CrossFit,
Mm-hmm.
powerlifting, and even strongman, and
Mm-hmm.
Olympic lifting, they all the four sports, although they are quite individual, the basics behind the
Right.
training aspects are very similar. And I do think if you're good at one, although there are
Mm-hmm.
aspects that you won't be good at within the other three sports, you would be able to kind of go over to those sports and have aspects of which you will be good at, and then need to work on maybe the more, for example, strongman, like the loading events and things like that. You don't really get that, and then the Olympic lifting, you really get like the deadlifts, but you do still have like the clean and presses. So I think you'd be able to kind of go between all four different types of strength sports and be good at certain aspects.
Right. Okay. I mean, sorry, I'm asking a lot of questions, but
That's all right.
uh, that's why we are here, basically. I mean,
Yep,
I am here, right? And we are touching quite a few interesting topics. So, I mean, why not? What I want to
exactly.
know is how popular is strongman in terms of, publicity and the, you know, how good are they in pulling crowds compared to other things which are coming up now? Strongman is something which is from a long time compared to CrossFit and stuff. So where do they stand when we compare with these sort of other sports, say running contest or CrossFit games?
I think from a point of view, from exactly what you were mentioning there about kind of like the games and the CrossFit games and powerlifting and competitions and strongman competitions, because I've come from a strongman gym, we do see a lot of localized strongman events, that I know that a lot of the guys that are still at that gym get involved in. So I do see a lot of that. I don't really have a lot of interaction with CrossFit in the gyms that they have, so I'm not sure of like the games that they have. But I do think, from my knowledge, is that that does once a year, and I think you've got to go through various qualifying stages in their aspects of games. So I think from a point of view, like, what is it? What's an easier sport to get into? What's an easier sport to start competing in? I would say at this time, probably strongman's still the easier of the three, the ones
Right.
that we're talking about, the strongman, powerlifting, and CrossFit. There's just more localized events that don't require such involvement from a higher process. It's just a gym that has the equipment hosting a small event. And I think that's probably the easier sport. Even when you look at powerlifting, it's all very it's all done through the IPF, or I know there's a drug-free British Powerlifting Federation, but having access to a facility to load up, get all the platform ready and all that is still quite hard. And I do know that that is something that they do struggle with a lot in the powerlifting in Scotland. That is just finding places to host events.
Okay. I mean, if you could also, probably touch aspect of training, say in a home gym compared to that of a private gym or a
Yeah,
public
because
gym.
obviously
Sorry.
with myself training obviously at home in my home garage, I think the main difference is having people around you that are of a similar nature, similar mindset to you. Um,
Right.
I do sometimes still go back to my original gym, and we go along with some friends, and those tend to be kind of some of the best workouts that you have, because you've got other people around you that are always pushing you. Not to say that obviously being at home and alone you can't make the same progress. That's realistically the progress you make is, I think, is something that you want to do. If you want to make the progress, you will do it. But I just think
Right.
sometimes when you're wanting to have a really good workout, you've got people there pushing you. I think that does help. Not that it will hinder you, but it definitely helps. But from a point of view of just sheer progression, I believe you still can make the same progression at home as what you could in a commercial gym, even if you are training yourself.
Okay. Who's your favorite strongman? I mean, it can be
Mm,
anybody, right from 80s to today. It can be anybody.
favorite strongman. Probably right now between Savickas and Eddie Hall. Probably go with Eddie Hall because he's like the
Okay.
deadlift champion, and he's a bit of a character. So I think I'd go with Eddie Hall right now.
So Eddie Hall.
Eddie Hall would probably be my favorite strongman just now.
Yeah. Hear me. Okay. What about? There was a strongman who did win the strongman competition from UK, Gary Tiller. Do you remember? I think he
Gary
won in
Taylor.
1993 or something.
Maybe a bit beyond. I would have been a bit young then, maybe. Uh, maybe a
Yeah.
bit
So
before my
he, I
time.
mean, you would find older videos on YouTube.
Mhm.
So his name was Gary Taylor. I mean, he was strongman as well as pretty jacked. I think he
Ah,
came from a powerlifting background, and he was
right.
a strength coach. Yeah. I
Uh,
mean, there were many greats like John Paul Simpson.
mhm.
He was character. I mean, amazing time. And they Maurice Putnowski.
Podorowski, obviously, he not transferred to powerlifting later on in life after he did his strongman, or was it the other way around that
No, he got
Podorowski
into
did it?
MMA. MMA, mixed martial
MMA.
arts.
That's it. Yep,
Yeah,
I remember now. I've seen the pictures of him when he's like ripped to the
yeah,
bone.
ripped to the bone. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, no.
and there was Sven Carlson.
hmm
So
Um,
that's quite a rich history. There was another person.
ah,
He used to
his name's
call Viking Power. I think that's Sven
uh,
Carlson. That's Sven Carlson. Yeah.
yeah. There was one of the guys from Iceland that I'm trying to remember his name just now, but it's went straight out of my head. Yeah, totally can't remember.
No worries. So, John, if you could tell us, what training program do you follow, and about your diet, if you could shed more
Certainly.
light on that.
Yeah, sure. Thanks. So first of all, I'll touch on the training programs. From my kind of training program aspect, I have mainly followed a linear progression program, such as 531. I've did a couple of programs from kind of one from a very popular YouTuber and one from a very popular
Mhm.
kind of powerlifter. Popular YouTuber was Brandon Campbell, called Campbell PRS was his
Right,
program. Again, a percentage-based program, linear progression, worked for about 9 weeks, I believe, including a peak phase into a meet. The other one was Connor Lutz. Again, he is a Canadian powerlifter in the 80. I think he's at the 83 kilo. He held the bench record for a while, the world bench record in his class. I run a program from him. Again, it was a 4 day a week, 6 week cycle. Again, percentage based linear program, and the
right,
last program that I was running there was a program called Brute Strong. Derek Mortison is the YouTube owner. If you check him out, Derek Mortison. Um, Very good program. Again, 3 days a week with that one. Linear progression. So it's all percentage based,
right,
where you just start off around about the 70% mark, and you're adding a few percentage every single week to just try and build up to a peak week. So overall, that's the kind of standard programs I've ran so far. I've not really got into the RPE scale yet. And I've not really got into kind of the conjugate method, but I will be starting that in the 24th of this
okay,
month. So I'm doing a small of junior base just now for my squat, bench, deadlift, and overhead press, just to tie me by until I get there, and then I'm going to be trying that out. So that's the kind of main programs I've been running. And then with diet, I try and keep diet very, very simple. Eat really what I want when I want, but try and focus on eating in the positive things like your chicken and rices and your healthy meals, and trying avoiding the kind of the bad food, the processed foods and things like that. But I don't really overly focus on my diet. I'm quite happy where I am just
okay,
now, about 90 kilo. If I want to try and cut weight, I would probably maybe put a bit more focus on it, but it's not really something that I'm interested in just now. I'm just trying to focus on gaining experience, gaining knowledge, and gaining strength.
right. So, I mean, out of so many programs which you have tried,
Mhm.
which one is far more effective for a natural drifter? Do you suggest? Which one that you have seen great progress with?
From personal point of view, from me, I've probably saw the best progress on the Brute Strong program, the one that I've just finished using. Um, Again,
Right.
I had to modify it for myself so that it can fit in with what I
Mhm.
needed. I had to add in a little bit more bench volume because I do respond well to bench volume. Um, But other than that, I mean, the Campbell program I ran, I got really good progress on, and I got really good progress on the Connor Lutz program. Probably the worst program that I have ran for myself was the 531, and it's just simply because of
Okay.
the small volume, with only really doing the volume once a week on the 3 lifts. It was great for my
Right.
deadlift, but my bench and squat just didn't move anywhere. So that was actually the reason why I came off that, because I just wasn't making progress on bench and squat. But as I say, the other 3 programs I've run, I've made all good progress. But the Brute Strong program has been the best one so far, because I'm able to tailor that a little bit more to suit my needs, and that's what everyone really should do. These programs are just templates and just things to give you a guide, and you just change what you need to fit your needs.
Okay. What about Ed Cohen's program? I mean, I've
The
heard that
deadlift
it
program.
becomes progressively difficult. I mean,
With the
that's
Ed
what
Code
I've heard.
deadlift
Yeah.
program, that was something I tried out just specifically to try and get. I think I added something like 30 kilo in the space of about 10 weeks to my deadlift. Um, towards the end of that program, that is absolutely brutal. You're doing such high volume with low reps. It's just such a high demand program. It really, you
Mhm.
need to dig deep to get to the end of the 12 weeks in that. But it does pay off. I think if I remember correctly, it was about 30 kilo in 12 weeks. I managed to add to my total and my deadlift, which is quite quite
I mean,
some
that's
feat.
30 kgs is like, I mean, great in 12 weeks,
Yeah. Yeah,
right?
it's a really good program. But I'm obviously, from my point of view, again, I'm probably a novice when it comes to powerlifting and progression and strength. So, if you took maybe something like a Jesse Norris or a Bryce Lewis or something like that, I don't think they would be able to add 30 kilo. I'm just a very much beginner, so I'm getting like the newbie gains.
Right. I mean, Brian Campbell's program should also be good. I suppose it's called something like Campbell PR.
Campbell PRS program. Yeah, that's a fantastic program. I ran that on one of for the meet up to one of my powerlifting competitions. Very well
Mm-hmm.
planned out program. You go through, it's 4 days a week. You go through the 9 weeks that it has. There's even optional weeks there for peaking up to a meet. Basically, if you're not sure of what to run for a powerlifting program, Brandon Campbell's PRS program just has everything for you. It's got the peak week, the deload week, the selection attempts. It's got everything in it you could possibly ask for, as well as a very detailed PDF to explain everything about how the program runs, why it's done the way it is. That's a very detailed program, and all for free as well, which is even better.
Yeah. I mean, he's a very nice dude. I mean,
Oh yeah, yeah.
even though he has like 100K subs, he does make sure
I think
we lost there, right? I mean, I was basically saying he has great channel and is a very down to earth person.
Oh yeah, Brandon Campbell's probably one of the best YouTubers there are, from the point of view that he puts out great content. He's very interactive, not just with the people that comment on his channels, but again with like the likes of the people that he does subscribe to. He does put a lot of effort into watching their videos as well. You couldn't ask for more from a channel that has so many subscribers, and obviously he's got a lot of interaction going left, right, and center, but he does still make time. So you can't ask for more.
Right. Do you follow bodybuilding?
At first, that was probably one of the first things that I did get into, was bodybuilding. That was what I was started to do in the gym. I don't really follow it now.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
uh, Probably the last big bodybuilder that when I was into it would have been Jay Cutler before he left the first time. I know that he's come
Mm-hmm.
back since then, but that was kind of when I was following it. Ronnie Coleman's end of Ronnie Coleman's era, Jay Cutler winning it. That would have probably been where I was with bodybuilding.
Right. I mean, who's your favorite bodybuilder?
It's toss up between Dorian Yates and Ronnie Coleman. Just because Ronnie Coleman's
Okay.
videos are so intense, but I love Dorian Yates' work ethic. He's a down to earth guy as well, and he really trains hard to get the gains that he wanted. So I'd probably go with those two. But if I was made to pick one, I'd probably go with it with Dorian Yates.
Yeah, I mean, I was about to ask you. I mean, he's from UK too, and
He is, yep.
I'm a big, advocate and follower of hit principle, right from the
Yeah.
Mike Menzier to Dorian Yates.
Yep.
And I love the Dorian Yates' style of training and his work ethic. No bullshit, no nonsense, just pure work.
Exactly, yeah. Just get in there, get the work done, and that's how you'll make progression. You're not going to really do it through any other channel, but just putting in some hard work.
Right. Yeah. I mean, he literally changed the sport. I mean, he was. I mean, post Lee Haney, I think he was the one who brought the size game with definition to a whole together different level. And then there, I mean, he paved way for Ronnie and stuff.
Yeah, I think Dorian was the last of the non-turtle belly kind of guys. Like I think Ronnie Coleman was like the first guy that really probably started abusing a lot of the substances that those guys use to get really, really big. And I think Dorian was probably the last one that actually had a tight waist. I think maybe in his later years he maybe didn't, but I think definitely when he was winning his Olympias, he definitely still with the tight waist, still with the massive size. And I think after that it went to Ronnie Coleman, who then really started to get the kind of the big turtle belly, as I call it. It's like a big round belly that they've got, but still with showing
The
abs.
Roy gut, GH gut, what they call it.
Yeah, whatever they want to
And
call
if
it,
you
insulin, GH.
and probably if you call, I mean, if you watch Louis Marco, he's one. He's another fellow YouTuber who does a lot of bodybuilding videos. I think he
Oh,
calls it
Louis Marco.
bubble gut.
I just love Louis Marco when he starts singing that Bubble Gut song.
Oh my god! I mean, he's a funny guy too. I mean,
He is. But I think
uh,
with on the topic of bodybuilding, I think that what Arnold tried to do, I think was it last year, where he basically tried to kind of get away from the kind of the big guts, and I think they've brought out a full new category like classic
right, classic physique.
heavyweight or
Yeah,
something like that. Yeah, I think
yeah,
that's a good progression for the sport to go, and I think they need to get away from what they are now, really, really big protruding bellies, massive big guys, and start getting back to the more athletic look. Still really big, but
right.
actually, to me, bodybuilding's supposed to be the pinnacle of what fitness or what a human body can do. And I think they still got to look good and do it. And I think sometimes when
Yeah,
you get those big guts, that doesn't really look good anymore.
absolutely.
Hmm.
I mean, okay. I wanted to ask you, what are your future goals, be it with powerlifting and your YouTube channel?
Well, my YouTube channel pretty much serves the purpose for what I need it for. I will continue to put out the content that I do, my training vlogs. I'll have some reviews coming out soon as well. I don't really ever see myself ever being one of the big YouTubers. I don't really think I've got the time and commitment to really put it into to kind of be that way. But it will continue on the path that I've got it just now, and I'm really happy with the way that it is going. With regards to my powerlifting goals, probably this year I've just had my first baby, so my son, he's about 12
Right.
weeks old now, so that really takes priority. But so for this year, I'm kind of powerlifting's on a back burner. I'm really just kind of focusing on getting my training in, just so that I can kind of keep making progressions. Hopefully I'll be getting a meet done at the end of the year. And then next year, that's when I'll probably try and get 2 or 3 meets done, hopefully make some good progress. And the aim is probably to try and win a meet and qualify for nationals by the end of the year.
Right, and congratulations on becoming a father.
Thanks very much.
All
It's a
right.
life-changing experience.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, you create life basically,
Yep.
right? So that's a great experience, right? I mean,
Yeah. I think it caught out a little bit there.
okay, I was saying you get a lot of it post becoming a father. You have to juggle a lot of things.
Yes, certainly. Yeah. Try to find time to fit everything in the day. Just sometimes the hardest part of it all. That's why if you do watch my videos, I don't really train till about 10:30 at night, because that's just the time where everything's been done, and it's now time for me to then get time to get in the gym. So I just kind of got to make time, and when you've got a chance to fit it in, that's when I just kind of do it.
Right. Thanks for being on the show, John, and making time and being part of the show. It's been a
No,
pleasure
thanks very much
interviewing
once
you.
again. It's been a great honor.
Right. I wish you all the best with your YouTube channel as well as your training and competing in powerlifting. I would like to see more videos of you, probably, even also sharing knowledge and making videos on strongman, probably visiting gyms and showing how it's done.
Yeah, I would love to get back into the strongman once I got a little bit more time. It is definitely something in the future
Right.
that I will be doing again. So thanks very much for your kind words. I'll be sure to get some strongman content for you.
No problem. It's been a pleasure. Thanks, John.
Thank you. Have a good
Have a
day.
great evening. Yeah.
You
Bye
too.
now. Bye for now.
Bye.